Uncle Joe's Froggy Surprise. Uncle Joe awoke to a strange sound. Snap, crackle, pop. It was coming from the kitchen. Rubbing the sleep from his eyes, Uncle Joe stumbled through the den towards the sound. Snap, snap, crackle, pop, pop, pop. Looking around the kitchen, he decided the sound appeared to be coming from the cabinet above the stove. What could it be? Uncle Joe decided to get his giant red fly swat, just in case he may need it. Creak! He opened the cabinet door, and to his surprise, right there on the shelf were 3 dancing frogs eating his cereal. Snap, 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 went a bright red frog with yellow dots as he munched away. Before Joe could say a word, another dancing purple and green frog jumped right out on his head. "Help!" he cried, while swatting at the frog with his big red fly swat. Now Uncle Joe was dancing a jig, too. With all this excitement happening, a small blue frog jumped from the cabinet with a loud pop. The blue frog landed on the oven. Uncle Joe could not believe his eyes. Colorful frogs had taken over his kitchen. Suddenly, there came a knock at the door. Who could it be this early? Uncle Joe bolted to the door and threw it open, hoping it was someone to help him. What? A horse wearing a cow costume dashed into the kitchen without a sound. Suddenly the kitchen grew quiet as, one by one, the frogs danced across the floor, straight to this strange horse. Down he plopped onto the floor. Before you could say jackrabbit, right out of the pockets of the costume came more colorful dancing frogs. Now they were everywhere, snapping, popping, and crackling. Not believing his eyes or ears, Uncle Joe thought he recognized the rhythm. Could it be Happy Birthday? No, but what was going on? Holding his ears, Uncle Joe ran back and jumped in his bed and covered his head. Maybe it was just a dream, he thought. He lay for the longest time without moving. Slowly he uncovered his head and began to look around. No more sounds came from the kitchen. Surely it was just a silly dream. He tiptoed through the den and peeked into the kitchen. To his surprise, the kitchen had turned into a rainbow of colors, sparkling and twinkling like Christmas lights. How can this be? Just then, Uncle Joe heard a snap, pop, and crackle. He would not dare open the cabinet door. But now he was getting hungry. What would he do? He looked around, and to his surprise, his table had turned into a giant cupcake. His chairs were cookies, juice came from the sink faucet, and pizza was hanging like curtains. The refrigerator was a huge bowl of ice cream. Who or what did this, he thought. Without thinking, because he was sure this could not be real, Uncle Joe opened the cabinet door. Snap, crackle, pop, he heard as hundreds of frogs came rolling out. "How do you like your kitchen?" they shouted. "And happy birthday!" Looking at the calendar, Joe realized that it was his birthday, and this was his surprise from his nieces and nephews. Uncle Joe began to eat his table and munched on his chairs as he drank juice from the faucet. This was a crazy surprise, but it was the best ever. Uncle Joe had turned 100 years old today. The end.